In this episode, we're talking about how to get a little more exposure for your Airbnb listing.
Vacation Rental Machine helps hosts just like you learn how to start, grow, and scale your short-term rental business. This show is all about creating systems that help you automate your business, giving you more time and money freedom. If you're ready to start living the vacation rental life, then subscribe to this podcast today. Come and join us on our Facebook group, The Host Nation, where we'll be talking about starting, automating, and scaling a short-term rental business. Now, on to the show.
Welcome back, Host Nation. I am John Bell, and today I am without Julian Sage, but he will be back in the next couple weeks. But the show must go on. And today we got to ask VRM question that says, any suggestions on how to get my place a little more out there? This is definitely a question that we should be asking ourselves just because we always want to make sure our property is marketed as best as possible. And of course, one of the first things I would suggest is actually taking your listing and putting it on multiple platforms. Of course, Airbnb has been our friend for a very long time, but Airbnb is not the only place people go out and look for listings. So we want to make sure that we're exposing ourselves to all of those platforms and every place that's available to us. A couple of creative ones that are out there are Peerspace. Peerspace allows you to rent your space to photographers or possibly film crews, somebody that wants to not necessarily stay inside of the apartment, but they want access to the apartment to photograph or film for a certain set. And you actually might make more by booking it on a platform like Peerspace versus Airbnb, where you just have a nightly rate. Peerspace, you possibly have a hourly rate with a minimum stay for hours, which could equate to more than your nightly rate. And that would be a good plus. That, of course, gets you exposure to those types of professional people. But what if you want to include some more professional people, but maybe not just that short term? Booking on platforms that have specialty niches for like traveling nurses, like Furnish Finder or places like that, that would give you exposure to those long-term or mid-term guests that are coming into your area. Some of the other places that you can actually list on, of course, are booking.com, Vrbo, and you can also get on Expedia if you go through TripAdvisor. There's plenty of other platforms, and really, we should not limit ourselves. Once we have a business and we're starting to flow and starting to have guests come in, we want to make sure our exposure is maxed out. I'd rather have zero vacancy than to have vacancy and not be exposed. What do you need to kind of market on all of these platforms? Of course, if you've listened to some of our other videos, you definitely know the answer to this question. Of course, you're going to need a PMS. PMS is going to help you manage all of these bookings that are coming in from all these platforms to make sure that nobody is double booked. That is definitely the biggest piece to a PMS. You want to make sure that you're not double booked, but at the same time, you want something that tells you, hey, how much revenue you have coming in from all of these platforms in one central location, and the PMS can definitely do that for you. So that is very, very, very important. Okay, but maybe you don't want to go to other platforms. You want to figure out how you could maximize Airbnb by itself. Well, the answer is simple. You got to become a super host. You got to get great reviews. The Airbnb search algorithm is basically based upon those two things. Of course, there's some smart AI that's there that says, hey, this guest potentially likes places that look like this. So we're going to present this first. Once you get past that, if you got the best reviews, if you're a super host, if everything that about your unit looks professional, Airbnb will have you as close to the center and front as possible. So you can definitely do better on your actual guest experience and raise yourself up in the search category on just Airbnb alone. Hopefully that was enough information to get you guys going on exactly what you're looking for as far as getting more exposure. One pro tidbit would be to convert all of your past guests into direct booking guests, which means you need a direct booking website. And that's something that a PMS can definitely help you with as well. So when you're looking for exposure, you got to do a few things. Become a super host, preferred host, or whatever on whatever platform to get the exposure. You want great reviews. That way people don't question your listing. You also want to get a PMS to market on all the platforms that you can still compound these great reviews on. Do all those things and you definitely have increased your exposure all the way across the board. Today's question of the day: what new platform are you actually going to start exposing yourself to, and how are you expecting it to book comparing to Airbnb? Till next time, Host Nation, happy hosting. Hey, Host Nation, would you like to work directly with Julian and I to help you start and scale your own short-term rental business? Go to shorttermsage.com/coaching to attend our step-by-step training and learn how we can work together. Looking forward to talking to you soon.
Hope you hosts found value in this episode. If you did, please go on over to iTunes and leave us a review, as that would greatly support the show. If you'd like to connect with John, the community, and I, then go on over to our Facebook group, The Host Nation. Talk to you hosts in the next episode. Keep on hosting.